This is Professor Guo Da-shun, who is the principal archaeologist on the Hongshan sites, whose word is gospel, and who would probably disagree with a great deal of what I'm saying. Well, my first piece I bought in Cat Street in 2000, and this is what it was. And I knew the dealer, and I said, how much is that? He said, $3,600, but you're a good customer, you can have it half price. So I said, what is it? Hongshan Jade. So I bought it, and I thought Jenny was going to be cross, but in fact, she wasn't. I thought, I've just got to work out, there's something about what's on the head that I really need to have that piece. And it suddenly came to me. Safe obstetrics. This is the head of the baby being delivered through the edematous vulva. Safe obstetrics. So I see this as the god of safe delivery. And the reason, it's also interesting because that part is very shiny and unweathered. And that almost certainly is because it was the bit that people came and touched. So you paid the shaman and you came along, can I touch the god? They'll give me a head. Note, not a pair of feet or a bottom there, a head. So that's the very first piece that I got. And the second piece is this piece, which is, to me, it symbolizes the burden of religion weighing down this poor man. Very witty piece. And then Bruce, who's here, pointed out, had I seen the small pieces in the window, which are mainly pendants and toggles, and I was ashamed to say I hadn't. And as soon as I saw those, I realized, I mean, first of all, they were a lot less expensive, and they were really very, very interesting iconographically and artistically. A little bit of sex going on up there in the top right-hand corner, but this is well, the middle one, if I could get up, is a sort of sea dragon or Zhulong mixture, and then there's a rather sweet little pig toggle on the top left, and a mask. So these were some of the first pieces that and bottom right, a really wacky piece here. I mean, this is at the wacky end of Hongshan, but Hongshan is extremely wacky. So this is a piece that I got because I thought that's, you know, really rather ugly little grumpy goddess with horns, but there was something about it that made me want it. Sideways on, it just looked very odd. And I could see people saying, you know, Gladys, you're wearing your grumpy goddess with horns again. It's not my grumpy goddess, my dear. It's my little fertility goddess. Because what she sees when she looks down is a logo of a baby with its hands in the air. This is a very nice Hongshan idea you kept a secret. I hope you can all see that. I mean, it would do as a good logo for a children's hospital. So that's what everybody else sees. That's what she sees when she wears it as a pendant. So let's talk a bit about the art and iconography of Hongshan carvings. Well, the pig dragon, you've seen one. It crops up everywhere, and it's often mixed with other icons. And this is the one I've already shown you, and I wanted to show one other feature, and that is the way, this is not accidental that the red has been, this red band is in the forehead and the nose of the Zhulong. That's how it's been carved. This is clearly a very important icon. Note also, in contrast to a lot of Zhulongs that you'll see in museums in China, some of which are labeled as fake, but not all, the carving has been done in relief. So it's up above, this is not incised, this is in relief, the markings of the nostrils. And I was also very fortunate to get from the same dealer a short while later what looks really like the sister piece. And this is a Zhulong, it's a sort of bird Zhulong. But one of the things when you get into this is that there's an enormous variety in the iconography, much, much more diverse than you'd get from thinking of reading any book. Above the eye of the bird Zhulong, it's like it's got woodworm. And it may be, I suspect that when they carved this, they didn't actually remove all of the original skin from the jade boulder. The next slide shows a lot of pieces, either there's another lovely Zhulong in top left, which note shows very focal weathering, almost like a root may have grown across it. And then there are two discs with Zhulongs. There's a Zhulong mirror image. There's this figure on the right that's got Zhulong ears. So one of the markers of Hongshan probably is one icon with another icon mixed in. And that icon is often the Zhulong. The sea dragon, the top right here is a typical, and there's another, we've got a little sea dragon you can have a look at there, which is also very typical, very attractive shape, a classical sea dragon. But then there are all sorts of really wacky sea dragons. We've also got one there, a large one, with a bird on top. So they experimented a great deal, and note these two flat ones, which really combine either a bit of female anatomy, if you've got a dirty mind, or just a disc with a sea dragon. Birds, a very important icon. And this is, again, just a selection of birds that I've collected. Absolutely marvelous variety of art and iconography. And often, as with the disc at the bottom, you see that the colour of the jade has been used with great affection in designing the piece. This bird is a really beautiful colour, and you can see weathering across the carving lines. Now, you know, most of these little pieces I've paid between 200 and 400 Hong Kong dollars for. They're getting less plentiful because I've been collecting them a lot, but James has got a lot too. Hi, James. I mean, tremendous diversity. This, viewed like this, you see the bird, and it can be worn like that. It can be worn with the right-hand part on your chest, but it can also be worn like that when it becomes, you notice the pig. And if you look at it, so it's sort of two for the price of one. I haven't shown where the suspension holes are. Insects, I've already shown you this. The cicada, of course, is an extremely common icon throughout Chinese history. But there are other variants, probably conjuring up rebirth. This is a particular favourite of mine coming up now. Yeah, it has, sorry. We'll go back. I try to draw every piece, and this, that helps me to understand them. But here, you have a wonderful butterfly, and I see this as a butterfly and a pupa. So again, rebirth, the ideas of rebirth. And also, bearing in mind that the suspension hole is at the bottom, it also, if you turn it upside down, it looks a little bit phallic. Well, they definitely had, we'll come on to sex in a moment for those that are about to fall asleep. Discs. Discs are very common. This is a variety of different Hongshan disc shapes. This is a particular favourite of mine again because it's a double disc, very attractive jade. And, you know, that's the way he wore it on Sundays. But the next day in the pub, that's how he wore it, the other way round. It turns into a little child crying or a choir boy or something by virtue of now having two eyes and a pair of feet. A very witty Hongshan idea. And they obviously enjoyed their jade. These discs all have not been drilled right through. They're double or triple discs. And the reason they haven't been drilled right through one of the discs is because on the other side they've got another icon. This is a very, very surreal piece. Again, there are about 7 different images in this. There's a fish. Turn it on its side. You've got a man's face on the left. You've got 2 birds. You've got a cicada. You've probably got a bit of female anatomy. And you can turn it upside down as well. And coming up in a moment, you get another face. I mean, probably the first surreal art and probably the last surreal art until Western art, the last century.